Hello, kindergartners. Today for math, we are going to continue with Chapter 3, Comparing Sizes, Length, and Weight. Our learning targets for this lesson is I can compare objects using descriptive words, I can order objects according to length, and I can order objects according to weight. So we are going to be talking about length and weight today. Now, look at the picture that I have in front of you. This is a picture of animals at the zoo. Now, I want you to look at the mother elephant and the baby elephant. The mother elephant is bigger than the baby elephant. The mother elephant is taller than the baby elephant. The baby elephant is smaller than the mother elephant. And the baby elephant is also shorter than the mother elephant. So I use the math vocabulary words that I want you to learn how to use when you are comparing sizes by length and weight. I said bigger than, taller than, smaller than, and shorter than. Now, let's look. One thing I do want you to remember is understand that being bigger does not necessarily mean being taller, and being smaller does not necessarily mean being shorter. They don't always go together. Now, let's look at the big elephant and the big lion. The elephant is big and the lion is big, but the elephant is taller than the lion, but they are both big. So that is an example that bigger does not necessarily mean being taller. Now, look at the small elephant and look at the small lion. The elephant is small and the lion is small, but the lion is shorter than the elephant. But they are both small. So that is an example of that smaller does not necessarily mean shorter. Okay? All right. Here's a couple questions that I have. Let's look at these pictures. Think about these objects in real life. Not the toy ones I have, but think of them in real life. Think about a real car that you drive in with your mom and dad. And think about a baseball that you would play in a real life baseball game. Which is bigger and which is smaller? Well, I know that a car, like my car that I drive in, is bigger than a baseball. A baseball is smaller. So I'm going to circle that car. That is bigger. Now, which is smaller? Well, we know that a baseball is much smaller in real life than a real car. And that is, boys and girls, comparing sizes. We talk about comparing many different things, books, stories, and numbers. We compare a lot of things. Now we're comparing size. Let's look at these two objects. think about them in real life. Think about a real guitar that someone plays, and think about an apple that you eat. Which is bigger? Is the guitar bigger in real life or an apple bigger in real life? Well, if you said the guitar is bigger, you are correct. A guitar is much bigger than an apple. So which is smaller? If you said the apple, you are correct. The apple is smaller. So what we're doing is practicing using this vocabulary. All right, let's look at another slide. Now we also, to compare sizes, we use the words longer and shorter. And we've talked about that a little bit. We often say which one is longest and which one is shortest. Okay? Now look at the picture that I have here of snakes. Let's count how many snakes I have. 1, 2, 3. Can't really see that one very well. So let's look at the red snake and the orange snake. Now, if I was going to ask you the question, which snake is longest? I would say the red one. The red one is longest. They are sitting side by side, and we can tell that the red snake is longest. Now, which one is the shortest snake? And then we could say, because we have them side by side, we are comparing them. We know the orange snake is longest. All right, let's keep going, and we're going to talk about weight. We've been talking about length and comparing things by length. We've been talking about height and comparing them, tallest and shortest. And now we are going to talk about weight. And when we compare with weight, we use the vocabulary words heaviest and lightest. And then we also can say which one is heavier and which one is lighter. So I want you to look at this picture that I have in front of you. I have some fruit, and it's a fruit stand, and we're going to look at the fruit and think about which one is heaviest and which one is lightest. Now, think about which fruit you like best. I like the strawberries the best. And think about which fruit would take the longest to eat. Maybe the banana, maybe a big piece of watermelon. And which do you think would be the easiest to pick up? Maybe a strawberry or the cherries. Now, let's think about the weight. Which fruit do you think is the heaviest in this picture? I think that a watermelon, it is very big. And so I think a watermelon is the heaviest. Now, what about the lightest? Which fruit do you think would be the lightest fruit? Maybe the cherries, maybe the strawberries would be the lightest fruit. Now, one thing I want you to remember also when we are comparing and talking about different fruits, it's not always the smallest that is the lightest. And it's not always true that the biggest are the heaviest. And we will be talking more about that in small groups too. Now, boys and girls, I want you to practice these skills on Seesaw, on the activity that I have along with this lesson, and practice using those math vocabulary words. And I will see you soon, kindergartners.